Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
everybody.
Oh, sorry, Sean.
I'll let you
Hey,
go.
everyone. So here's our mock draft. I believe everybody saw what picks everybody's doing earlier. So we're just going to get this started right away for everybody. So myself, I got pick one, and that ends up being Susie's pick. And I think it's obvious. I'm not going to waste any time. It's Harrison Jr.
Boom. Yeah, I mean that's obviously the correct pick. Moving on to pick number two, that is mine. I think there's multiple ways we can go with this pick, but let's be honest, this is a keeper league. You're not playing for just this year, you're playing for 5, 10 years. I mean, this is year 12th or 11th for us. So you're obviously playing, 5, 10 years down the line, and the only correct pick here, in my opinion, is Malik Neighbors. And pick number
Totally
three
agree.
goes to Chris.
All right, here looking at their keepers, we got Jared Goff, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Shakir, and Walker. I do believe the wide receiver position is a little sketchy. Shakir has an opportunity this year to kind of break out, but he's still relatively unproven in a wide receiver one or two role. So I believe the pick here is going to be Rome Odunze for Chicago.
Perfect. And Green Lightning and Lucas, you are up.
I see that Adrian and the age crew is keeping I think it's 4 wide receivers. So pretty strong there. I think he's got to address tight end here early in the draft, and I think he'll go Brock Bowers.
All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and add Bowers.
You're up again at 5, Lucas.
Yes. I see he's got the quarterback. I think gotta go tight end or wide receiver or running back. I could see him going Dalton Kincaid if he's still in the draft at that point though. So I'll go back to back tight ends. Kincaid for number 5.
All right. Dalton Kincaid. And Chris, that means you are on the clock.
All right, and I believe we have this is Ryan's team. So yeah,
Yep.
he's got Patty Mahomes, so quarterback is pretty much locked down. There's no reason for him to go quarterback. And he's went pretty running back heavy, although I think Javonte Williams is a very risky keeper right at this moment because I've read a lot of reports that he might get cut. But given that, he still has 3 running backs and he's only keeping Mike Evans at the moment. So I believe he does go receiver, and I think he will go. Honestly, I think it'll be a toss up between Xavier Worthy or Jaden Reed. And I'm not still sold on Xavier Worthy, so I'm gonna say he goes with the veteran and goes Jaden Reed.
All right, Jaden Reed. I have the commission's pick at 107. At 107, you still go best player available. And I'm actually going to take a flyer because I think this is where I took this same exact player last year. And coming out of camp, he's apparently looking amazing. And that player is Chris Godwin.
That's awesome, Sean. I totally seen him kind of landing around 7, 8 here in the real draft when we do this. So at 8, I got Susie again. So she already picked Marvin Harrison, and I know she needs a running back, but Scary Terry's still on the board, and I think with all the picks, Susie could contend this year. So she's gonna get another high quality player in Terry McLaurin at 8. Pick 9, that's me. So it's Tracy and Get Her Done. I think for Get Her Done, you're in this scenario where you have to probably look at one of the rookie wide receivers and take a risk. right? I know, there's a few good players on the team. I mean, Chase Brown's one of the keepers, and I know Chase Brown's actually been getting a lot of the first team reps so far in camp in Cincinnati there. So I think Tracy's gonna go either Worthy or McConkey. I have a feeling they're gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs and the champions there, Xavier Worthy.
So I actually think that I actually had those two players for my very next pick. And since you took Xavier Worthy, I'm going to take Lad McConkey. That's honestly the best available player in my opinion, right there.
That'd be for Green Lightning too.
That'd be for Green Lightning. Yeah,
I like getting the
I didn't even
Chargers.
think about that, but yeah, for Green Lightning, that makes a lot more sense.
You'd be happy with that, Lucas.
Yeah, the Charger.
All
Chris,
right.
you're up, buddy.
I believe this is me. Yes. So projected for
So
my own team here.
Chris, before you do that, why don't you and I change next picks? I'll pick for you here,
Go for
and
it.
then so that way you don't have to pick for your own team.
Go for it.
All
I
right,
think
perfect.
that's fair.
All right, so looking at Chris's team, so I'm doing this on the fly. I didn't look at it earlier. He has Kittle, DJ Moore, White, Brown, Hollywood Brown, Joe Burrow, and Moss. And looking at who is available, real quick. All right. A lot of the players I would probably put in here are gone. There's one player that I think probably is better than. There's two players, honestly, that I would probably put here real quick for him: Keenan Coleman or Brian Thomas. If he's looking to stay, go young here, or if he's looking to go for, try to actually take the division. I know he has, a decent amount of picks here. He can go Hunter Henry. It's the first round, so I personally believe the first round, and if you're in the top 15, you should be looking for next year as well as taking a pick. So I'm gonna go Brian Thomas here as my pick.
Me
So-
next, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you next.
it's still you, Lucas. So on Sean's next pick, which would be 15, is what we said. Chris will
Mhm.
take that pick.
Gotcha.
I'm up though, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Looking at his keepers, he's got the two tight ends, Kelsey and Fryermuth. I'm not too sure about Gus Edwards. There's reports that J.K. Dobbins could be hurt. I also heard that Gus Edwards was hurt too. I could see him going with a running back, which would leave Brooks. There's also Keon Coleman, but I do think he will take Brooks and take the risk on the injury.
Good pick. Yeah, Chris, honestly, if I would have had your pick, I probably would have put Brooks in there for you.
Yeah, my big thing with Brooks is I don't think you pick him for this year. You pick him for the future. I think Chuba has a pretty good hold, but and it really depends on how he performs this year. They'll let Brooks come in slowly.
Correct.
I don't think he starts right away.
I agree with you.
And next
right.
pick, I see it's Swags. He I think definitely could have used the running back, but since the running back came off right before him, I do think he does go Keon Coleman.
Swags likes his rookies.
That he does. All right, Chris, you're back to back.
All right, cool deal. So here we've got pick 14. So we got Cashin. Looking at his keepers, he's got Sam Laporta, so I don't see a need for him to go tight end this high. Zamir White and Brian Robinson, those two running backs kind of scare me with their efficiency. So I think we need to probably look at running back here. And given James Conner's injury history, I believe at some point sooner rather than later, Trey Benson is going to get a shot, although he has his own kind of injury concerns. Because I believe he was the Florida State back, yeah. So, but I'll take a chance that that's behind him, and we'll go Trey Benson.
I agree.
Then on to our next pick, we have Storm, and it looks like she went running back heavy right now, keeping Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, and Jalen Warren, although two running backs from the same team is a little questionable. And Addison having his DUI, he might have a suspension upcoming soon. I think we may need to go receiver here because I think Derrick Henry is going to have a pretty good year. So I think that'll be a solid for the moment. And I think she takes a chance on, I don't think he's been taken yet. No. So I think this is where Christian Watson, I believe, will go off the board. When he was healthy last year, he was very efficient. So I don't think that's a bad pick at that at all.
No.
All right, so it's me at 16, I believe.
Correct.
And that's Green Lightning. So Green Lightning at 10 picked Lad McConkey earlier. Definitely needs a running back, but Chris nabbed Trey Benson before he kind of needed him. So it's the question is, do you go rookie or do you go with like a veteran backup? Because at this stage, with what's left, I mean, I guess you could kind of say Jerome Ford, but who knows? Like Nick Chubb's a machine, right? So he could be back sooner rather than later. So I'm gonna have him go the rookie running back here in Blake Corum.
All right, perfect. You're up again.
All right, so 17, it's Billsy Bobs, and I think Billsy Bobs is in a position where at this point he's got to take a chance on what maybe could be perceived as best available. And I think at this point you got to think it's maybe Cortland Sutton with Denver because at least he's kind of tabbed to be first on the depth chart there right now. So I'm going to go Sutton for Billsy Bobs, best available for him to try to survive.
That's a good pick. Honestly, that was kind of penciling him in for Finito coming up here. Looking at his team real quick, he has David Montgomery, Pacheco, A-Chain, Nakua, and Spears. So he has three young running backs. He finished third. He has all his picks except I think the 13th and the 17th rounder. So he could take a flyer here. He could probably take who I would take, and that would be. I'm just making sure he is still available before I. Nope, he is not available. So, yeah, it's actually you sniped my pick there. So I'm I'm actually kind of at a loss here, real quick. I mean, there's one person I would probably take, even though I'm not a big fan of him, and that would be Xavier Leggett as for wide receiver, just to get some new talents in that room.
Finn likes his rookies too. He's just like his brother.
Yeah. And Chris, you're on deck.
All right, cool deal. So next we got BC Lions. All we know, he had a great run this past year. It looks like he's not keeping a quarterback or a tight end. He's going running back and kind of receiver heavy with his keepers with Amari Cooper and Metcalf, and then James Cook, Jameer Gibbs, and James Conner. I do think, again, James Conner's injury history is a little bit questionable, but all the other keepers I really like. I think he either goes quarterback or tight end at this position, and I do believe it's a little early, but he does not have his second round pick, but I think he does have two third rounders. So I think he goes ahead and nabs his quarterback, and it's just a matter of preference over rookie potential versus proven record at this point. And I believe the correct pick would be Brock Purdy, since he's still relatively young and he's in that offense that can produce a number of points each and every week.
All right. And Lucas, you finish this out.
All right. Obviously, it's your team here, Sean. You went all in last year, won the title. I think definitely you could be competing to survive this year due to your pick situation.
Ooh.
I could see the You going with the rookie in Adonai Mitchell, or it depends how much your fan base of Philly affects your pick. I could also see you going Dallas Goddard. I do think looking for the future and points right off the bat could be Adonai Mitchell.
Wow, off the radar.
Sean's just like, ugh.
Yeah,
I wonder
that's
what. I mean, pick 20. I mean, we're getting pretty thin already by pick 20, if you guys notice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, looking at it, we went. A lot of wide receivers went early and quick. I think the two tight ends going 4 and 5 is kind of throwing the draft into a tailspin there. I think they should have went probably a little bit later, but I mean, first round, in my opinion, should be best player available. You have to fill 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, 3 flex. I know there was a comment earlier about, hey, he already has a tight end. It is a 2 tight end league, so what having 2 starting tight ends is also a good thing there as well. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a good draft. I think a couple people went a little bit too early, but each his own.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, and I think you just got to keep up on what's going on in training camp, especially for the rookies, right? And how much time they're getting, how many reps they're getting, right? And whether or not, they're actually going to be playing a big role or not, right? Like you look at that Ricky Pearsall there in San Fran, like he's hurt already. And what I'm hearing is like the other young guy they have, Cowing's doing way better. So, it's like you just got to keep up on little things like that, right? Because of course, sleeper and fantasy pros and all these other things will have Pearsall rated quite high, right? But if he's not getting the reps right now, usually the rookies don't get the early downs in the season either, right? So
Yeah, for sure. And the reason I won't drop is I got 3 letters for you: C M C.
Hey, I
wow.
do think your keepers are pretty strong. I do
I do.
think you'll stay in the league. I don't believe that. I think you're strong enough of an owner to stay in the league,
And also
but
Joe
definitely
Mixon with
not.
that Houston team. That's looking like a nasty team this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I noticed like this year and teams are smart. Like even you, Chris, you were smart to get what you could for Debo, right? So
Yeah, I tried shopping him around. I really wanted a deal similar to what Susie had gotten for Diggs. Not quite as high of picks, but just nope. Everybody's kind of stubborn. Everybody's wanting to keep their picks. If they want to draft a person that's going back into the draft in the first round, second round, when they could have got them for a ninth or a 10th, so be it.
yeah.
I agree with that. I think our league. I'm starting to see a trend in our league. My honest opinion is, if you want to trade a high caliber player, you have to trade him right when the league ends, or
Yeah.
you're not going to get any good value for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did
Agreed.
that last year with ETN with the new owner.
Mhm.
And honestly, like now I probably would be way more well, you can edit this one out, Sean, because it's just us boys talking. But